Hello lovers, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be learning how to make this flare short jumpsuit. So if this looks like what you are interested in, please continue watching. If this is your first time here, I am Lillian. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click the subscribe button. Also turn on the notification bell so that you receive a notification anytime I post a new video. Please guys, don't forget to engage my video, like, comment, share with your friends. Thank you so much. Let's get into it. So for today's tutorial, the material we are going to be working with is chiffon. So I have roughly 3 layers of chiffon here. So this is the material I'm going to be working with. So the first thing you are going to do is to get a pattern paper. So get a pattern paper of about 35 inches width. So I'm going to measure this. So the width of this pattern paper actually added 2 pattern paper together. So I have roughly 35 inches width here, just as you can see. So the width is 35 inches. So the length will depend on you. Just make sure the width is up to 35. So whatever you want as your length is your choice. So after doing that, what you're going to do is to fold on bias. So you are going to fold your pattern paper on bias, just as you can see me to hold one of the edge, and then just like you're trying to make a triangle, that is how to fold on bias. So hope this is clear. Make sure both edge actually meets, just as you can see me trying to arrange it very well. Make sure that both edges, like everything is aligning on both edge. So after doing that, what you're going to do is to divide your round waist circumference by 3. So my round waist circumference is 28. Divide by 3 is going to give me 9 point something inches, but I'm going to be using just 9 inches. Remember, this is on bias, so there will definitely be excesses, so that is why. So from the edge of your paper, come down by your round waist circumference, divide by 3, just as you can see me do, and then try to like take your tape round, just like you are trying to create a half circle flare. So this makes sense. So this point now is going to be our waistline. So if you are wondering why we actually divided by 3 instead of 4, remember half circle divided by 3.14. okay, so that is why we are dividing by 3. So the next thing you are going to do is to determine your length. So at this point, it depends on what you want. So for me, I'm going to be, this is our waistline actually. I'm just going to label it as, so from this point I'm going to come down by 19 inches. You can actually do whatever you want. So this 19 inches, my hemming allowance is also included. Remember, you can actually take this to whatever length you want. So I'm working with 19 inches. So from your already marked waistline, just take it around. You can see what I'm doing, just like we are trying to make a circle flare. Okay, just take it around. You can see what I'm doing. So take it round and then mark it round. It's a flare pant, so we need to create it just like the way we do our flare. So the next thing you are going to do is to connect your already marked points together, just as you can see now. So connect it together like so. So when you're done, just go ahead and then cut off the excesses that we won't be needing. So at the waistline, go ahead and then cut off, just as you can see me do now. Cut off at that point and then come over to the hemline. Also, we are also going to cut off the excesses. Okay, so we won't be needing what we have left, so just cut it off, just as you can see me do now. This is what we have left. This is what we are going to be working with. So this is it. So get your crotch depth or your body rise. What you need to do is to divide your hip circumference by 4 and then add extra 2 inches to it. So mine is actually 10 plus 2 inches is supposed to be 12, but I marked 11. But I will advise you actually mark 2. Add 2 inches to yours. It's better off that way. So I'm going to mark it, just as you can see, and then I'll take my ruler from my waistline. I'm going to come down. Just take it straight. Okay, from your waistline, go down to your crotch depth. So after doing that, all you need to do now is to extend that point by 2 inches, or you can as well divide your round hip circumference by 20. Whatever you have, use it as your crotch extension. So I'm going to be working with 20 inches because my hip circumference is 40. Divide by 20 is 2. So I already extended that, just as you can see now. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to use my ruler and then create a curve. So I'm going to get my curve at that point. My ruler is not actually giving me what I want. I'm going to try the other ruler to see. So if you actually have hip curve, it's going to be easier for you. If you have hip curve ruler, just use it to curve it. So you can see that it's actually not giving. I need it to go in a little, so I'm going to use freehand instead. So I'm just going to curve it in a little with my free hand. Okay, just as you can see me do now, I'm curving it in a little because it's actually not giving me what I want with that ruler. I just curve it in a little with my free hand. Okay, so this is it. After doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to take it down to my hemline like so. Okay, just like you can see, I kind of like moving, like I moving by ½ inch. So this is it for the front block. So all I'm going to do now is to go ahead and then carefully cut out, just as you can see. So I'm going to cut out. Remember, I'm cutting off the ruler parts. It's only just the freehand part that I left out at that point. So this is it for the front block. So it's actually 2 and we don't need both. I actually drafted it on 4, that is why. So all we are going to do now is to set it aside and cut out the back. So to cut out the back, you are going to bring in a fresh pattern paper and then place your front block on it. So after placing it on it, all you need to do is to trace it out. Okay, so just go ahead and then trace it out. You can see me do trace out from the sides like so, okay, to the end. And then we are going to also trace out the waistline. So remember that top is the waistline, then there's the hemline. So you are also going to trace it out, just as you can see me do now. For the back extension, what you're going to do, you are going to extend the back also by 2 inches. Remember, we used 2 inches for the front, so the back also extend it by 2 inches. Okay, so I'm going to connect that with a ruler, and then at the down you are going to go out by either ½ inch or 1 inch. It actually depends. You can use 1 inch, you can use ½ inch, both will work. So you're going to connect it. So when you're done, this is it for the back block. So you are going to also trace out the curve at the front. So it's the same curve we are using for both front and back, just as you can see. So just trace it out. So this is it for the back block. So I'm going to take off the front. You can see this is it for the back block. So if peradventure you don't want to add bodice to this pants, you just want to wear it as your normal knicker, all you need to do is to extend it at this point by 1 inch and then connect it back to your waistline. So that is if you don't want to add bodice to it, because I'm going to be adding bodice to it. So I'm going to compare what I have now to my waist circumference divided by 4. So I'm going to measure my waist circumference now. So just as you can see, my waist circumference divided by 4 is 7. So what I have here is almost 7 inches, just a few inches different. So I'm going to leave that, and then I'm going to be adding ½ inch as my seam allowance. So remember, you can actually add 1 inch. It's a matter of choice, but for me, I'm going to be adding ½ inch round. So this is it for the back. So all you are going to do now is to take your paper, scissors, and then cut out. So this is it for both front and back blocks. So we are going to go ahead now and then cut out on our fabric. So this is for the front and then this is for the back. So to cut out on your fabric, as usual, this is actually on fold because we are going to cut 2 pieces. So remember, the front block we didn't add allowance, so I'm going to be adding that on my fabric, just as you can see me do now. I'm also going to add ½ inch round. Guys, this is it for the front. So mark the wrong side and then label it as the front to avoid any form of confusion. Just label and then mark the wrong side. So I'm going to set it aside and cut out the back. So we don't need to add any other allowance apart from our zipper allowance at the center back. So all you need to do from that point is to come down by at least 8 inches. That is if you are adding zipper. If you are adding bodies, so that is the point you are going to add zipper. So come down by at least 8 inches. So after coming down by 8 inches, we are going to add extra 1/2 inch. Sorry, we are going to add extra 1/2 inch. Remember, as you can see on the pattern, we already have 1/2 inch. We already have 1/2 inch on the pattern. So by the time we add extra 1/2 inch to make it 1 inch for our zipper allowance. So this is it. So just come down by 8 inches and then add extra 1/2 inch plus the 1/2 inch we already have on our pattern. So this is it. So all you are going to do now is to cut out. So this is it for the back. So you are going to do the same thing. Mark the wrong side and then label it as the back. Though it's very obvious, but still mark. Do the same thing here. Mark the wrong side and then label it as the back. So we are going to set it aside so that we can actually cut out the bodies. So the bodies, I already have a pattern here. It's just my normal basic bodies, and then you can see that the hem, my waistline, sorry, I added 1/2 inch and then the side 1/2 inch. Okay, so because it's only 1/2 inch I added on the pants, so I need to maintain it so that it will align. And then remember, you can actually use whatever you want as your bodies. You can add whatever you want at the top. So this is actually what I want. So whatever you wish to use as your bodies, go ahead and do that. So I'm going to pin down. So just pin down the down part and then leave out the chest line area. So what you're going to do, I'm just going to create a line here. Just go up by a few inches because I don't actually want this to come down too much. I don't want my bust to expose. So after doing that, all I'm going to do is to slash it. Okay, so while slashing, make sure you don't get to your allowance. Please don't slash it to your allowance. So all you are going to do, be careful while at it, don't slash your allowance. So just open it up, and then when you're done opening, all you are going to do is to connect. So just as you can see me do now, take your chalk and then connect it from your neckline or your shoulder to the end. So what I have here is 11.5 inch, just in case you want to know. You can actually do something higher than this, so it depends on you. So I'm just going to pin down, just as you can see me do now. After pinning down, all you need to do is to cut out. I'm going to be adding extra inches at the top there. So I'm just going to add extra inches because I'm not going to be adding facing. That is why I'm adding extra inches at the top. So hope this makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead now and then measure this out so that you know what I have there in total. So everything I have is actually 14 inches, just as you can see. So you can actually do more than this. It depends on you. Just know that the higher you go, the more it will drop. So and then your bust, the more you will expose your bust. So I'm going to notch this point. So the shoulder line, make sure you notch it, okay, so that when you are joining it to the back, you know exactly the point where your shoulder, your front shoulder stops. So I'm going to cut out. So after cutting out, next thing I'm going to do now is to take off my pattern. So this is it for the front piece, just as you can see. This is it for the front piece. This is my notch point, so please make sure you notch your shoulder. So this is it. So I'm going to set it aside now so that we can actually cut out the back piece. The back piece, I already placed my fabric on fold because I want to cut both back piece at a go. So this is it. Just go ahead and then cut out. This is it for the whole piece. So we are going to set the rest of the piece aside so that we can start with the front pant block. So I'm going to set the whole piece aside. So bring in the front piece of the pant block. So just as you can see, bring in the second pant block. The front, as you can see, both is actually the front. So what we're going to do now is to join it right side facing the right side, just as you can see. So just put it together, right side facing the right side, and then just arrange it well. So when you're done, we are going to pin this down. So just carefully pin down. So when you are done pinning, what you are going to do is to join by 1/2 inch. So I'll go over to my machine and do that, and then I'll bring it back. So this is it after joining, just like I instructed us. I already joined, just as you can see. So this is it for this. So I joined by 1/2 inch. Remember, you are not going to take it to the down. Okay, you can see where I stop exactly at the crotch, so you are not taking it down. So this is it. So please make sure you don't take it to the down. Remember, what we are actually making is a pant, so don't take it to the down, please. So what I'm going to do now is to bring in the front piece. So this is the upper bodice, okay, the cow neck that we already cut out. So what we are going to do now is to join the right side facing the right side. So first of all, what we are going to do is to fold this into 2. So you are going to fold it into 2 to get the midpoint. Please don't notch. Remember, I don't know the material that you are going to be working with, but this material is actually very light. So I'm going to use chalk to mark the midpoint instead of notching, just as you can see now. So after doing that, what I'm going to do now is to turn it right side facing the right side, and then make sure that chalk point is exactly at my center point on the pant. So hope that makes sense. So when you're done, just go ahead and then pin down. So hope this is clear. So please watch carefully in case you don't know how to join pants with bodies. Just watch carefully so that you understand what is going on. So I'm going to pin it around the waistline. So this is it after pinning down. So all you are going to do now is to join by 1/2 inch at the waistline. So remember, we added 1/2 inch as our seam allowance, so that is what we are going to join with. So I'm going to set it aside. We are going to do the same thing with the back piece. So this is the down piece of the back, okay. So just as you can see, this is it, and then I'm going to also do the same thing here. So arrange it well, and then you are going to bring in your back piece also. This is the upper bodice of the back, okay. So we are also going to join it right side facing the right side, just as you can see now. We are also going to join it on the waistline by 1/2 inch, and then do the same thing to the other piece. Remember, the back piece is 2, so we are going to do the same thing to both pieces. So you are going to join it by 1/2 inch. Please take note of the side that your armhole is, okay. Just as you can see, your armhole is going towards the side. Your armhole is going towards the side. Please watch carefully. I don't know if you guys can see this. Hope this is not confusing. So this side is your center back. The side that have that allowance that we added is our center back. So all you need to do, you can see what I'm doing. So center back to center back, side to side. So hope that makes sense. So I'll go ahead and join the whole piece together, and then I'll bring it back. So guys, this is it. So I already joined, just as you can see. So I already joined at the waistline by 1/2 inch. So this is it for the front piece, just as you can see now. So the back piece, I'm also going to bring in the back. So this is the back piece. I already also joined, just like I instructed us. I already joined at the waistline, on the waistline by 1/2 inch, and then I added facing to the back. So around the neckline, I actually added facing to the back piece on the neckline. So you can see I added facing to the back neckline. So what we are going to do now is to join the back together, right side facing the right side, just as you can see now. So what we're going to do is to go up from, remember we came down by 8 inches, so at that point you're going to go up by 1 inch. So just go up by 1 inch, just as you can see now. Go up by 1 inch, and then when you're done, you're going to mark 1/2 inch to the end, just as you can see. So mark out your 1/2 inch. We are going to join at that point by 1/2 inch. So hope this makes sense. So join by 1/2 inch. So when you get to the 1 inch that you went up with, you are going to mark 1 inch Okay, so hope this is clear. Watch carefully so that you understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to pin down, and then I'm going to go over to my machine and then stitch. So hope this makes sense. So I'm just going to sew it to the end. So I'll go over to my machine and do that and then bring it back. So this is it after joining. So remember, we added 1/2 inch as our seam allowance. So that is what we are going to be joining with. So I'm going to open it up now, and then what we are going to do is to bring in the front piece. So you're going to bring in the front piece so that we can actually join everything together. So this is it for my front piece. So I'm going to join it right side facing the right side, just as you can see. So join it right side facing the right side. So come over to the down. So you are going to join it, the crutch to the crutch together, just as you can see. Make sure they are aligning, then carefully pin down. So make sure they are aligning and then pin down. So after pinning down, you are also going to pin on the other side. So you are going to pin to the end. Okay, just as you can see me do. Just carefully pin it down to the end and then come over to this other side, merge it together. Please make sure they are aligning, please. Then when you're done, also carefully pin it down. So hope this makes sense. So just pin it to the end as you can see me doing. So pin it down. So when you're done, what we are going to do is to sew by 1/2 inch. Remember, it's a 1/2 inch we actually added, so that is what we are going to be sewing with. So go over to your machine. I'm just going to mark it out. So just mark out your 1/2 inch, just as you can see now. I'm going to mark out the 1/2 inch. Hope this makes sense. So all you need to do is to sew by 1/2 inch. So after doing that, you are going to come over to the side. Please watch carefully. Align the waistline together, just as you can see now. Align the waistline together and then pin down. So when you are done pinning, you are going to come over to the down. So also align it together. Just carefully align it. If you have any difference at the down, you can as well trim off, but make sure they are aligning at the waistline. That is the most important thing. So come over to the shoulder line. So match the shoulder together and then pin down, just as you can see me do now. Pin it down. So you are going to have extra 1/2 inch at the edge there. Okay, the front neckline, remember we added 1/2 inch as allowance, and then we are not going to turn, so that allowance is going to be there. So that is what is you are going to fold in by the time you want to iron, so that so that the edge, the rough edge, will not be showing on the outside. I don't know if I'm making sense. When you're sewing, you understand what I'm saying. So you're going to come over to the armhole side, so also pin down at the side. Okay, so hope this makes sense. So when you're done, sew by 1/2 inch, and then by the side sew by 1/2 inch. So you're going to do the same thing. I'm going to mark out 1/2 inch. Okay, just as you can see now, the neckline, the shoulder line, sorry, you're going to sew by 1/2 inch, and then the side, remember it was 1/2 inch I added, so I don't know what you added. If you added 1/2 inch, use 1/2 inch. If it's 1 inch you added, use 1 inch. So there is no specific reason why I'm actually using 1/2 inch. You can use 1/2 inch, you can use 1 inch, depends on what you want. Okay, I just don't want much excesses, that is why I'm using 1/2 inch. So you are going to sew by 1/2 inch. Okay, come over to this other side. We are going to repeat the same thing. Just align it at the waistline and then pin down. So do the same thing to the armhole area, and then the shoulder line, you are going to do the same thing to the shoulder point also. Just make sure your notch points, you just align it and then stitch. Okay, I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring it back. Okay guys, so welcome back. So this is it, just like I instructed us. So I already joined by 1/2 inch at each point. Okay, so just as you can see now, so I already joined, and then to this side I already also joined. Okay, so hope this makes sense. And then this is it for the neckline. So as you can see, the neckline, you are going to have a few inches left at the front neckline. So all you need to do is to iron it in. Okay, when you are ironing, just fold it in and iron it, so everything will drop down. So if you have means to actually weave it, you can weave it from the inside, so that by the time it drop inside, the edges will not be rough. If you actually have means to, you can as well leave it. Actually, it won't show, it's going to be on the inside. So this is it, just as you can see now. I already turn it to the right side, so this is it. So all you need to do now is to go ahead and then face your zipper. Okay, so I'm going to turn it to the back. So just go ahead and then face your zipper at the back. Okay, so just go ahead and fix your zipper. So this is for this video. When you fix your zipper, hem the down, and then whatever sleeve you wish to add, go ahead and add it. So I will do just that and share the finished look with us. So guys, thank you so much for watching. So this is the finished look. I went ahead to add bare sleeve, so you can actually add whatever sleeve you want. If you don't like the upper bodies, you can as well add whatever you wish to add to the shorts. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.